Florida A&M University. Together we rise. Together we rise, proud Rattlers. Together we rise to honor one of our own. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are pleased that you were here to witness this powerful processional to kick off our installation ceremony of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University's 12th president, Dr. Larry Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the incomparable, distinguished man of the hour, the 12th president of Florida A&M University, Dr. Larry Robinson. Please remain standing for the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing, the posting of the colors by the Army ROTC, and singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. The selections will be led by music major Darian Bolden.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day be dawn. Let us march on till victory is won. at the twilight lights last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I think that's the first time I've ever felt like shouting to the Star Spangled Banner. Give that young man another round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, we know that this is a distinguished ceremony, but we also know that this is FAMU. This is a joyous occasion. So I'm hoping that there is audience participation. We wake up and we clap and get some energy in the room, because we are really, really excited about this ceremony today. One of the many things, and I will say there are many things, but one of the many things I love about Florida A&M University is that we pray together. And so now it is my great pleasure to introduce Reverend Dr. R.B. Holmes, pastor of Bethel Baptist Church and former chair of the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees, who will offer the invocation.
Yeah. Let us pray. This is a day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Dear Lord, on the highest hills in this great city, state, and country, we come to lift up our eyes unto the hills from which cometh our help. All of our help cometh from you, Lord, who made the heaven and the earth. We thank you for blessing this university for 140 years with excellence, strength, courage, commitment, and conviction. We now praise you for this 12th president of this great university, President Larry Robertson. We thank you for his strength. We thank you for his vision. We thank you for all the gifts that you have blessed him with to move this great university forward, onward, and upward. Now, Lord, bless him with your grace, with your peace, with good success and good health. Bless his queenly and godly wife. Thank you for her and the children and the family. Bless the faculty, the staff, the administration, and the students. And Lord, bless this occasion with your presence, your power, your peace, and your promise. In your glorious name we do pray, amen and amen.
Thank you, Reverend Holmes. To welcome you on this very special occasion will be Dr. Maurice Eddington, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and he will be followed by greetings from the President of the Faculty Senate and Board of Trustees member, Dr. Betty Grable, Florida Board of Governors member, Alan Levine, Student Government Association President and Board of Trustee member, David Jackson III, and FAMU's National Alumni Association President, Colonel Gregory Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with Dr. Eddington.
Good morning. It is an honor to stand before each of you today as we welcome you to our beautiful campus. At this moment in the history of this wonderful, treasured university, delegates from as far as Brazil and South Africa, from Chicago to Louisiana, have gathered to celebrate with us as we pause to honor this historic milestone, the inauguration of Dr. Larry Robinson as the 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. For 131 years, FAMU has distinguished itself among the higher education community for its unique ability to train students to develop real-world solutions to society's challenges and affect real change in their communities and respective industries. Scholarship, excellence, openness, accountability, collaboration, service, courage, and integrity are just some of FAMU's core values. So, it is only befitting that we join together to inaugurate a leader that embodies these values, a leader who exemplifies the university's mission each and every day through his actions and words. FAMU's commitment to advance knowledge, resolve complex issues, and empower citizens and communities must live on forever. And that is why we are so grateful to host each of you today. You represent all facets of our diverse and impactful community. Today, you have united with us in showing our support for not only Dr. Larry Robinson, but more importantly, for the success of FAMU students, both current and future. So as we prepare for an era that will solidify FAMU's status as a premier land-grant doctoral research university, we not only welcome you to this special occasion, but we also welcome you to partner with us as we bring fruition to Dr. Robinson's mantra for FAMU's future. Together, we rise. Thank you and welcome.
Good morning. On behalf of the Florida A&M University outstanding and dedicated faculty, we extend a hearty congratulations to our distinguished 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, President Larry Robinson. As we all celebrate his presidential inauguration today, the 9th day of November, 2018, to the Florida State University System Board of Governors, Chancellor Kreiser, my fellow FAMU Board of Trustee members, FAMU deans, FAMU directors, FAMU chairpersons, FAMU staff, FAMU students, and along with other university presidents in the room and delegates, platform guests, and supporters of Florida A&M University, these ceremonial rituals intrinsically forever alter in the very best way the historical and futurist paradigms of our beloved FAMU. As the FAMU faculty representative, we also congratulate President Robinson's family, including First Lady Sharon Robinson and their lovely and accomplished daughters and niece, on Dr. Robinson's formal inaugural installation today as our beloved 12th University President. President Robinson, your inauguration today further celebrates the rich history of Florida A&M University while looking forward to the university's future that is destined to be filled with the light of high ideals and a laser focus on meeting FAMU's mission of dedication to the advancement of knowledge, resolution of complex societal issues, and the empowerment of citizens and communities as we educate the leaders and change agents of the future, our students. We, the faculty, believe we share a partnership with you and your administration, a partnership that allows us to enhance the academic achievement of the students we serve and to work together to transcend the ordinary while focusing on nurturing greatness in our students and in ourselves. As a community of learned people, we know that one constant in the universe is change. We welcome the brilliant, positive change that President Robinson represents. We are proud to have you serve as the leader of one of the greatest HBCUs in our nation's history. Today, we acknowledge President Robinson's tireless willingness to serve our great university several times over. And now again, on behalf of the FAMU faculty, I say, my, how things have changed for the greater. President Robinson, we, your faculty, congratulate you on your inauguration as the 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
Good morning, members of the board, administration, faculty, students, friends, and of course, most importantly, Mr. President. I'm here today to bring greetings on behalf of the Florida Board of Governors and the State University System of Florida. You know, as a member of the university system, Florida A&M University holds a special place, providing access to students from all over the world who seek opportunity and are filled with hope. And indeed, as I walked out on campus today and as I look out in the audience, I see students, parents, all kinds of people who have hope, aspirations, and ambition, not just among the students, but also among the faculty. You know, the faculty who have invested themselves and their lives in the pursuit of knowledge and in the sharing of this knowledge with young people. You know, my favorite proverb is 29:18, Mr. President, where there is no vision, the people perish. You know, Mr. President, the match of your vision for this institution with the hopes and the aspirations of these students and faculty are going to create pathways for these young people that are going to change them forever. You hold their future in your hands. And what I'm about to say, I don't say lightly on behalf of the university system. You know, Mr. President, we trust you. We trust you with their future. We trust you with our beloved institution. We trust you to have the vision and to be able to lead all of us towards your vision. You know, a couple years ago, there was a meeting that I had the opportunity to attend where then faculty member Robinson was leading an effort to put together a strategic vision for the university. And it was a tense meeting, as you can imagine, those mostly are. And to see his calm, his steadiness, and his ability to bring the conversation back to what it was all about, the students and the future, their future and their aspirations. It was inspirational for me. You know, we've asked Dr. Robinson to do this a few times. I think this is the third time. I think we got it right this time. The third time is the charm. So I'll say on behalf of the Board of Governors, we also thank the Board of Trustees of Florida A&M University. They have a tough job. I had the opportunity to help appoint many of the current FAMU board members, and I can tell you there is no group of people more committed and passionate about the future of this institution than they are. The most important thing they do is hire a president, and I do think they got this right. So on behalf of a grateful Board of Governors and on behalf of a university system that's well represented here today, thank you to the Board of Trustees, and on behalf of all of us, congratulations, Mr. President. We all stand behind you, and Godspeed.
Good evening, Rattler family. I am David H. Jackson III, a third-year business administration student hailing from Tallahassee, Florida, and your current student body president and board of trustee member for the 2018-2019 academic year. On behalf of the FAMU Student Government Association and the FAMU Board of Trustees, I bring you greetings. This morning, we celebrate the inauguration of Dr. Larry Robinson. I campaigned on the slogan, "Do the right thing," which the FAMU student body did by electing myself and Robin Seniors to serve as the SGA president and vice president. And today, I'm very proud to say that the FAMU Board of Trustees, along with the Board of Governors, did the right thing when they hired Dr. Larry Robinson to serve as the 12th president of our illustrious institution. It is no accident that under his leadership as interim president, FAMU became noted as the #1 producer of African Americans with bachelor's degrees, the #1 institution of origin for black scientists and engineers, the #1 HBCU for research and development by the National Science Foundation, and continues to be ranked the #1 public HBCU in the United States by national ranking organizations such as the U.S. News and World Report. With Dr. Robinson's leadership and vision, FAMU continues to do the right thing as we work collectively to move FAMU forward. Dr. Robinson, thank you for embracing FAMU's model of excellence with caring. As the president of the College of Love and Charity, we support you and congratulations. FAMU today, FAMU tomorrow, and FAMU forever. Thank you all, and God bless FAMU.
Good morning. Will all members of the Executive Board of the FAMU National Alumni Association please stand? Now, will all members of the FAMU National Alumni Association please stand? Now, will all alumni please stand? This morning, I greet you on behalf of the more than 85,000 alumni of this great university. Dr. Robinson, these alumni, this morning we close ranks around you. We're here to support you as you move this university forward. We're here to support this student body as you guys matriculate through this great university. We're proud of the work that you're doing. Board of Trustees, you got it right. And we're looking forward to Dr. Robinson moving this university to greater heights. Again, greetings and welcome. Thank you.
So we heard a common theme about this great man. And we've heard the saying, it takes a village. I think I loved everything that was said, but just the idea of us surrounding this man and supporting his leadership. Can we give ourselves a round of applause and promise to do that with every clap we are going to support this new president. Now, there are many distinguished guests in the room to help us celebrate today, and I'm going to sprinkle this throughout the program, but we want to recognize those who have come from far and near to celebrate this great occasion. Please hold your applause until I've finished the list of the first dignitaries. Congressman and Mrs. Alfred Lawson, are you in the room? Oh, great. State Senator Bill Montford, State Representative Camilla Brown, State Representative Keone McGee, Akin Akinyemi, a property appraiser, Gwen Marshall, Clerk of the Court and Controller, Curtis Richardson, City Commissioner, Doris Malloy, the Tax Collector. Yeah, we will. Kathy Garner, Judge and alum. Lisa Conti, the Deputy Commissioner of Agriculture. Dr. Trika Gerard from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which I will from now on refer to as NOAA. Louisa Koch from NOAA. Gary Matlock from NOAA. Dr. Latoya Miles from NOAA. Paulinus Chigbu from NOAA. And Riza Kanbil-Vardi, the director of NOAA's CREST Center. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to some of our distinguished guests. And now it's time for another praise break. We will now have a musical selection, Total Praise, performed by the Wind Symphony under the direction of Dr. Shelby Chipman. Let the church say amen. 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 We will now have the opportunity to hear reflections from, in this order, Dr. Frank Brogan, Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Education, Dr. LaToya Miles, Deputy Director of the Atmospheric Turbulence and Diffusion Division, Dr. Edward Mercius, Provost Emeritus of Washington University in St. Louis.
Good morning. I, of course, lived in Florida for 35 years before I left to attend to the universities in the state of Pennsylvania, where my wife, our son, and I resided up until last summer, when I received the call and ultimately the invitation to join the United States Department of Education. It is good to be home. I will also observe this. You all were counting ballots when I left, and you're still counting ballots. Dr. Robinson, a man I have enormous respect for, but also a wonderful friend. To you, to the First Lady of Florida A&M University, your family, to the members of the Board of Governors of the state of Florida, to the members of the Board of Trustees of this prestigious institution, to the faculty, the staff, the administration, to the many, many thousands of people who call Florida A&M their home of the past and remain engaged today. And most importantly, I think, Mr. President, if you'll indulge me this, to the students today of Florida A&M University. First of all, you are incredibly fortunate to now call Florida A&M University your home. Many of you were born into the world of aspiring Rattlers. Many of you made the decision to attend somewhere along the way, but regardless of the motivation, it is and will prove to be in the future, if not one of, perhaps the most important decisions that you've ever made in your life. Because by virtue of being a student here, you will someday be catapulted into the world of alumni. And trust me when I say this, the experiences that you take away from this institution, not only in the classrooms, in the laboratories, on the fields, the diamonds, the courts, not only will those experiences serve you very well, but once combined, will enable you to take on the world of the 21st century strong-backed and clear-eyed, with the knowledge that you are not only a Rattler, but with the determination that that will also provide you as you go on to fix the problems that we created and find solutions to the problems that we never could. And a big part of that, of course, is granted you by virtue of the fact that while here, you will rub elbows with some of the most talented professional educators on planet Earth. And the gentleman that you now pay tribute to is one of those. Mr. President, I spent all day yesterday in West Florida. Flew into Panama City yesterday morning and spent the whole day with school superintendents, school board members, principals, teachers, community members, who are right now, as we are seated here in this beautiful facility, who are right now held in irons in so many ways due to the ravage that has been perpetrated upon them from the hurricane of a little more than a month ago. I told the people back in Washington, D.C., with whom I worked this morning on a conference call, television doesn't do it justice. You have to see it with your own two eyes. You have to walk those streets. You have to see the absolute devastation of so many of those communities in West Florida. But you know, we'll all work to deal with that, won't we? What we saw more importantly yesterday, and what I took away, was what I saw in the eyes of the people with whom I came into contact, who recognized the massive setback that they have been dealt, and yet recognize their job, their current reason for being is to wake up today and try to make life better for the people of West Florida than it was yesterday. And they will do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And they will never stop until that wonderful piece of geography is restored and even launched into the rest of the 21st century better than it was before. That's the determination I found in West Florida yesterday. And I cannot tell you how often I heard, Mr. President, from the citizens there about all they had by way of advantage, even in the face of those overwhelming odds. And how many times I heard repeated, but at least we are fortunate to be near people and places that can help us. And among them regularly I heard, it is wonderful to know that we have the partnership of Florida State University, Florida A&M University, Tallahassee Community College, and the world of higher education, which is a part of our community, to provide additional opportunities to the people who right now desperately need it most. And Florida A&M University came up on many, many occasions yesterday in that regard. Isn't it wonderful, my students, to know that you're part of an institution that not only goes about the heavy lifting of teaching and learning and researching every day, but you are revered by those who need you and respect you. And when the chips are down right now, as low as they are, recognize that they won't be able to get back up without you. That's the kind of university you attend. I will then say this about Dr. Robinson, and I'm going to be old-fashioned to do it. Young people in this auditorium probably won't have reference for what I'm about to say. I remember, because I'm old enough too, that when you referred to someone as being a decent man, it couldn't get any better. People now refer to decent as average. How's the burger? Decent. What's the day look like outside? Decent. My young students, in a day gone by, arguably the highest compliment you could pay a person like Larry Robinson was to say what I'm about to say about him right now. He is, without a doubt, one of the most decent men with whom I have ever come into contact. And that's the other thing I noticed. Three's the charm, Larry. We finally counted that one right. I will go back to Washington, D.C. in a few hours, and I will continue to worry very, very much about those good people in the Panhandle. And will continue in my role there to try to do whatever we can do to help their burden be a little bit lighter. But the one thing I will not worry about on that airplane going back to Washington, D.C. is the future of Florida A&M University under the brilliant and watchful eye of Dr. Larry Robinson. Congratulations, Mr. President.
To all those who are gathered here this morning, I am so honored to experience this moment of celebration with you today. Excellence is never an accident. Rather, the Greek scientist and philosopher Aristotle said that excellence results from high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. There was high intention in growing a small academic institute into a school of the environment, which offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. There was sincere effort to bring together a caring group of professors and staff to create a challenging yet nurturing learning environment for young graduate students like myself, where each of us, no matter where we came from, could think about what we could become. We could dream more. We could learn more. We could do more, and we could become more. There was intelligent execution to obtain and sustain a federally funded center for training a new generation of scientists who represent diverse backgrounds, cultures, and communities, and who can make discoveries, advance technology, and change our world for the better. Excellence also requires focused vision, being able to see the future as it could be. There is focused vision when opening doors to education, internships, fellowships, and employment for FAMU students so that they can perpetuate our collective, eternal legacy of excellence. The collaborative leader with intention and effort who successfully executes the vision is my forever mentor, Dr. Larry Robinson. Along with my fellow alumni from the early days of the School of the Environment, I congratulate you, and I could not be prouder. And I look forward to all of the wonderful things that you and your team and the students here at this great university will accomplish in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Ed Macias. I was the provost at Washington University for 25 years. But when Larry Robinson arrived as a PhD graduate student at Washington U 39 years ago, I was a professor of chemistry. I served on his thesis committee. I worked with him throughout his graduate student days. Now, chemistry is a hard subject for many people. Nuclear chemistry is in the harder part of chemistry. Students who complete a PhD in nuclear chemistry are really smart, clever, and creative. And that describes Larry as a student at Washington University. Smart, clever, and creative. And even more than that, he was a student of high integrity, a very caring of others, and a really nice guy. I'm very proud of Larry Robinson. His PhD thesis was titled Fractional Independent Yields of Silver 121 and Cadmium 121 from Thermal Neutron Fission of Uranium 235. Now that is hard stuff. But Larry mastered it and became a world expert in this field. He continued to show his stuff in nuclear chemistry in his following years at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. His wonderful wife, Sharon, is also a graduate of Washington University in physical therapy. And we're very proud of her, too. I'm honored to be here at Florida A&M University, and I bring greetings and congratulations from Larry's alma mater, Washington University in St. Louis. We're so very proud of Larry and all his accomplishments in research, teaching, and in leadership, and I know he will be an excellent president. So let me close by saying that I'm very honored to be here and to play a part in Larry's inauguration. This is a wonderful day and a wonderful ceremony, and I'm very thankful to join in this celebration. As a teacher, seeing one of my students succeed after he has finished his degree is wonderfully gratifying. For Larry Robinson to be recognized for his accomplishments in leadership is a joy that I will never forget. Thank you.
All I can say is wow. What's the 411 on the 911 or the what was that? That is so, he said something like that, Kim. But isn't it beautiful to hear what a great global leader our president is? So many voices. And so we will continue with our list of distinguished guests. Brian Lamp, the Board of Trustees Chair from the University of South Florida and the Executive Vice President of Fifth Third Bank. Jamal Gibson from the Mayo Clinic and FAMU Foundation. Paul Chauncey, Brigadier General. Karima Harris, Foreign Affairs Center. Willie Mae Musgrave from the Tallahassee NAACP. Eunice Heath, Dow Chemical Company. Annie Harris, Dow Chemical Company. Adora Obi Nueza, the President of the Florida NAACP. Mark O'Brien, Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Jonathan Sellers, U.S. Army Reserve. Asha McDowell, U.S. Army Reserve. Please give a round of applause to this group of distinguished guests. And now we will have a performance of Down Through the Years from the African American Church Experience, which will be performed today by the concert choir under the direction of Dr. Mark Butler.
me.
Lord of mercy, down through the years. The Lord has been good to me, down through the years. The Lord has been, yes, you have been so good, down through the years.
Have mercy, you've been so good to me. Oh yes, you've been so good.
Shout out,
So good to me.
sing it one more time, down through the years. The Lord has been good to me, down through the years. The Lord has been,
Yes, he's been so
yes, you have been so good, down through the years.
Have mercy, you've been so good to me. Oh yes, you've been so good.
Shout out,
So good to me. Oh,
thank you, Lord.
thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
I thank you, Lord.
I thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lord.
Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord. Yes, you brought me.
I thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
I thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
Oh,
I thank you, Lord, 'cause you brought me from a mighty long way. You've been my mother.
yes, Lord.
You've been my father. Lord, if you hadn't been there, my Lord, don't know what I do. Been my mother, father, sister, brother,
Doctor, lawyer, preacher,
teacher, my all and all. Lord, you brought me from a mighty long way. Oh, Lord, have mercy. You brought me from a mighty long way. Singing, thank you, you brought me from a mighty long way. Singing, thank you, you Lord, I just wanna thank you from a mighty long way. So I singing, thank you, Lord, I just wanna thank you from a mighty long way. So I singing, thank you, Lord, I just wanna thank you, Lord, you've been good. So I'm singing, thank you, Lord, I just wanna thank you, Lord, you've been good. So I'm singing, thank you, Lord, I just wanna thank you, Lord, you've been good. So I'm singing, thank you, Lord, I just wanna thank you, Lord, I'm singing, thank you, Lord.
You know, a president gets to choose and approve his music. And do you notice a theme in the music today? So often leaders get high and mighty, haughty-taughty, and forget from whence cometh their help. But obviously not the case with our Dr. Robinson today. Total praise down through the years. Amen. And now we're going to have more distinguished guests introduced. Ivy Alexis Baker from Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. Terry Baker, Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. Katrina Roll, United Way of the Big Bend. Richard Reed from Richard Reed Productions. Stephanie Clark, Zeta Phi Beta sorority. Marilyn Delta from Delta sorority. Dr. Solomon Badger, former chairman, FAMU Board of Trustees. Dr. Spurgeon McWilliams, former trustee. Marjorie Turnbull, former trustee. Pam Duncan Green, former trustee. Julie Allison, special guest from Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Dr. Brickler Sr., a special guest, and Dr. Brickler Jr., also a special guest. And I'm going to take executive privilege. Mr. Derek Manning, my husband, special guest. All right, a round of applause for our special guests. Now, as we continue in the spirit of community, we move into the focal point of today. The ceremony of investiture of Dr. Larry Robinson as the 12th president of Florida A&M University. Dr. Robinson's wife, Sharon, and his children, Nicole, Talia, and Arlen, and his niece, Patricia, will assist with his academic robing, symbolizing their commitment to supporting him and Florida A&M University. Kelvin Lawson, chair of Florida A&M University Board of Trustees, will present the Presidential Medallion and the University Mace. The Honorable Joseph Hatchett, retired federal judge, will administer the oath of office. Mrs. Robinson, Nicole, Talia, Arlen, and Patricia, please come forward.
Dr. Robinson, today your family robes you in your presidential regalia. It bears the university's seal and links the FAMU of today with institutions of the past. It preserves the insignia, dress, and ceremony that have characterized the Company of the Learned since their inception. Your family will now assist you with the robing. And you will note that Dr. Robinson now has 4 stripes, this presidential robe. Today, Dr. Robinson will receive a seal of his new office, the President's Medallion. He will wear it at honors convocations, commencements, and other important ceremonial occasions. Its weight, which is quite heavy, is a reminder of the heavy responsibility that must be willingly carried by all who occupy positions of leadership. The design on its face is a reproduction of the university's seal, and is linked by gold-plated sculpted engravings of each past president, symbolizing the institution's rich legacy of leadership. Our FAMU Board of Trustees Chair, Mr. Kelvin Lawson, will adorn Dr. Robinson with the medallion. It is indeed heavy. And finally, the university mace symbolizes the authority vested in the president by the university's governing board, the FAMU Board of Trustees. The shaft bears the seal of the university. The baton is made of mahogany, which symbolizes the trees of knowledge. The base of the mace is a gold-plated brass rattler, representing the university's mascot. Chair Kelvin Lawson will present this mace to you, President Robinson, as the 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
Robinson, please repeat after me. I, Larry Robinson,
I, Larry Robinson,
do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in accordance with the powers that have been vested in me by the Florida Board of Trustees and the Florida A&M Board of Trustees. The first one should have been by the Board of Governors.
By the Florida Board of Governors.
I better put this on. By the Board of Governors.
By the Board of Governors.
And the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees.
And the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees.
And that I will faithfully and perform the duties of president.
And that I will faithfully perform the duties of president
of Florida A&M University.
Of Florida A&M University.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm up here trying not to cry. I get so emotional about these things. Are so beautiful. In keeping with the inaugural theme, Together We Rise, Trayon Sargent, theater performance major, will perform a dance to Andra Day's I'll Rise Up. That will be followed by a video presentation and then the introduction of the president by our senior dean, Rodner B. Wright, Dean of the School of Architecture and Engineering Technology. Please welcome Trayon Sargent.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. With you, when the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. With you, all we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000
family man, nuclear chemist, and of course, committed educator. Dr. Larry Robinson believes that hard work and dedication always pay off. He is a leader, and his life's constant punctuation is lifting up those around him. His determined mom instilled faith, character, and an appreciation of education in all of her children.
He's a man of integrity who, through God's grace, pours the best of himself into his family and is passionate about encouraging others.
After high school, it was off to Lemoyne-Owen College and then to Memphis State, where he graduated summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in chemistry. He went on to Washington University of St. Louis, received a PhD in nuclear chemistry, and met Sharon, his bride of 34 years. Dr. Robert Watson was his colleague and basketball buddy back in the day.
When it came to basketball, as in life, he was fair, and he always believed that the individual was less important than the team.
Dr. Robinson and his wife have 3 daughters. Every life he touched was better for it, and it all started at home. His niece says he's a father figure.
He took me in when I was in the 2nd grade, became my legal guardian, lived with them from 2nd grade all the way up to high school. Lo and behold, my uncle ended up being my coach. So I was able to develop a skill in running, and I've been doing that, and no matter where the track event was or the cross-country event, we would all pile in the car and go to different cross-country meets. And when I realized how did I get to that certain stage in my life, all I could think about was my uncle.
He left Oak Ridge in 1997, looking for opportunities to give back. Hired by Dr. Frederick Humphreys to lead the development of FAMU's Environmental Science Institute, Dr. Robinson is one of the nation's leading figures in chemistry and the study of nuclear science.
We needed someone who was well established, had a reputation, and who was pursuing research activities, and to create a very strong academic program. President Robinson was all of those things.
By 2007, he was FAMU's Chief Operating Officer, and in 2009, he was named Vice President for Research. In 2010, he left his beloved FAMU and was confirmed by the U.S. Senate to serve as Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Conservation and Management at the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, under President Obama.
Not only were they able to attract a well-known, well-prepared scientist to come into NOAA and lend his expertise, but they also found a champion for environmental justice.
He left NOAA after 18 months.
I remember he finally decided to leave, and a lot of people asked, why are you going to leave such a good job? Why are you going to leave? You made it. You're in DC. And he told them what he told us. You know, he said, I miss Sharon. I miss my wife. He's always been a big supporter of my sisters and my mom. I mean, he's been our biggest cheerleader.
The FAMU family got Dr. Robinson back when he returned as Special Assistant to the President and Professor in 2011. His record in research is the stuff legends are made of. At Oak Ridge National Laboratory, he examined the remains of President Zachary Taylor. At NOAA, he directed and coordinated the efforts of more than 25 scientists at 8 universities in coastal and marine ecosystems. And the nation benefited from his work with the BP oil spill. Truly dedicated to his Florida A&M University family, Dr. Larry Robinson served as interim president 3 times. Briefly in 2007, from 2012 to 2014, and from fall 2016 until December 2017. He has given so much to the university, And his colleagues say the best is yet to come.
For a university to have an effective leader, they need someone of the highest integrity. They also need someone who's smart, but not just smart. They have to be clever, creative, inventive, and forward-looking. I think Larry has all those characteristics.
President Robinson is bringing a great level of quality and a great level of active participation, and that excellence we're carrying is abounding today at the university. So,
Dr. Larry Robinson, devoted son, loving husband, family man, nuclear chemist, leader, committed educator. He is a man who truly cares about this university. His mother constantly drove home that he could be whatever he wanted to be. We are all the beneficiaries of her wisdom. Dr. Robinson, we thank you for your service.
Good morning. Today, I am honored to introduce to you a dynamic leader who truly needs no introduction. He is respected for his distinguished career and services as a scientist, administrator, trusted advisor, federal official, civic leader, and community servant. 21 years ago, Dr. Larry Robinson stepped on this campus with one thing in mind, and to this very day, he has yet to abandon his mission. In his own words, he told the Tampa Bay Times, and I quote, "Every morning I get up thinking about the students at FAMU, and that really is what drives me. That's what brought me here. Since the moment I met him 21 years ago, I have never seen Dr. Robinson, who has remained a good friend, a colleague, and a boss to me over the years, waver from his commitment to shaping young, bright minds into the change agents and trailblazers, no matter the field they chose to pursue. He interweaves student success into everything he does. In fact, when he first fell in love with FAMU, it was after welcoming several FAMU students into his lab at the renowned Department of Energy at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. His compassion for young people made it easy for former President Frederick Humphreys to convince him to join the FAMU family, and the rest, as we say, is history. Dr. Robinson has never turned down an opportunity to serve FAMU to ensure the best future for our students. From his mentorship to some of the nation's leading and emerging environmental scientists as a distinguished professor and researcher, to his work as the architect of FAMU's strategic plan, and not to mention his impact as former provost and vice president for academic affairs, Dr. Robinson ensured that the outcome of our students is tied to everything that he does, which includes his accomplishments as a former vice president for research and current director of the multi-million-dollar NOAA Center for Coastal and Marine Ecosystems. His impact is so profound that even President Barack Obama tapped him to serve as Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Conservation and Management at NOAA in 2010. And even serving under presidential administration didn't stop Dr. Robinson from maintaining his commitment to students. He successfully managed to lead NOAA's efforts in addressing the historic BP oil spill crisis, and afterwards returned to FAMU to answer the call to not only assist the university in enhancing its graduate studies, Title III, and sponsored research programs, but to also take academic programs to new heights, which has contributed to FAMU consistently be ranked among the best universities in the nation. Continuously applying the chemistry degree he pursued as a student starting at Lemoyne-Owens College, then at Memphis State University many years ago, Dr. Robinson has permanently etched a place for himself in higher education history through his innovative approach from uniting the campus and community to ensuring the greatest outcome for our students. Ladies and gentlemen, I have introduced Dr. Robinson countless times in his interim capacity. So this morning, it gives me great pleasure to have the distinct privilege of presenting to you our 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, Dr. Larry Robinson.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's still morning. And thank you all for coming and joining us in this great celebration, not of me, but of Florida A&M University. I just want to first begin by thanking God for giving me the opportunity to get up this morning and all of those other days in my life, and for giving me an opportunity to serve and be part of this great place we call Florida A&M University. I want to thank God for FAMU. I do want to give a special shout out to my mother, because she had a sharper vision than my own. I told a story, a true story, last night, how in middle school I thought I was going to be a great basketball player. And, so I sneaked and went to basketball practice as opposed to band practice. And, after it was all said and done, we had whittled down the large number of young men, as you can imagine, in a basketball town like Memphis, who wanted to be on the team. We were having sort of an inter-squad scrimmage to perhaps determine who was going to be the starting five for the team. And then I made a little jump shot, and as I was backing down the court in my pre-Michael Jordan style, I looked over in the bleachers to make sure that the coach was watching. Yeah, he was watching, but so was my mother, Eliza May Robinson, along with the band director who had ratted me out. That brought my basketball career to a screeching halt. It was off to chemistry from that point on. My mother knew that I had a bigger role to play somewhere out there. She knew that, even though I didn't. And so I thank my mother so much for what she did to raise 6 of us as a single mother, but with the help and love of so many others. And so before Sharon and I had our own child, and my younger sister was having some difficulty, it was with no doubt that my mother was not going to raise another generation of kids. She had put up with enough from the 6 of us. So when Patricia needed a place, a home and love, we brought her to Oak Ridge to stay with us. And, she's our niece, by definition, but she's just as important and part of a member of our family as those other 3 young ladies out there who sometimes, boy, I don't know if I want to own them or not. But anyway, I needed to start there before I got too far along. I also want to thank my mother-in-law and the Bean family for accepting me into the Bean family, and all of those members of the Williams family who are here with us as well, an extension of the Bean family. They all came from Memphis, Tennessee. So this whole front row, would y'all stand and just be recognized? I'm so proud of y'all. Thanks for coming. I have to thank Ms. Linda Barge-Miles and Dr. Valencia Matthews and for their leadership and creativity in putting this whole series of events together. This is one of them. They think it's the most important one. Some of you probably think the gala tonight is the most important one. Well, we have recognized a lot of very, very important people who deserve to be called out this morning, and I appreciate all of you coming here to this event this morning and for all of your support over the years. But I want to acknowledge the most important people in the room, and that's the Florida A&M University students, okay? I want to, acknowledge student leadership, Student Government Association, and all of those fine young men and women who serve as presidential ambassadors, the Mr. and Ms. FAMU and the Royal Court. Thank y'all for coming. You all, as normal, you look so beautiful. And the band, the choir, the DRS, Royal Court, the Developmental Research School, thank y'all for coming out as well. Baby Rattlers on their way to the Hill. I also must thank, of course, the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees for giving me this opportunity to serve as your 12th president. Chairman Lawson, to all of the members of the board, thank you so much for putting your confidence in me to lead this great institution. I also want to recognize again, collectively, that is, the members of the FAMU Foundation for all that you do as stewards of that large sum of money that we use to support students and faculty. Thank you for that, not only as being good stewards, but what you do to contribute to that endowment as well. Thank you so very much for being here. And then students, you know how this goes. I often ask, what's the most important organization for you to belong to at Florida A&M University? It's the National Alumni Association. And I want to thank the National Alumni Association for all of their support of the students at Florida A&M University. I am grateful for the presence of all of the former presidents who are here. Would you please rise, because I stand on your shoulders, former presidents, interim presidents, all of you. Come on, guys, let's do this. All of you. All of you have contributed to positive things along that 130-year journey. I learned from each and every one of you. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to learn from you. And hopefully, I can do as well as some of you did while you were here in this seat. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm also impressed with the number of academic leaders from around the state of Florida, the nation. Would you please stand, those presidents and chancellors who've come here this morning to help celebrate with us? Would you please stand? And former presidents, that means you too. Dr. Larry Rivers, would you please stand and be acknowledged? You know, Dr. Abdullah, thank you for coming all the way down from Virginia. Don't try to recruit any students. Please stay away from them. President Fuchs from Fox, the University of Florida, thank you, sir. We're going to have a very special partnership with the University of Florida. We're certainly looking forward to that. And thank you for welcoming us to your home earlier this fall. I also, in particular, want to acknowledge those leaders from historically black colleges and universities. So we are all in this together. All of the things that you say about FAMU, you can also say about that other 104, because they're doing the same types of outstanding things that we're doing right here at Florida A&M University. Thank all of my colleagues from the State University System of Florida, and I do see very important delegates here from the Florida College System. Thank you so much for coming to this inauguration and for all that you do for students across this great state. I also want to thank and give some acknowledgement to all of the K through 12 teachers and administrators, because without you, there's no pipeline, there's no way to get here. And so I want to thank all of those dedicated educators and administrators out there that are providing noble service to provide students an opportunity to get to us here in higher education in the first place. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your commitment to education and to service. And on this Veterans Day weekend, I want to extend a special thank you to the active members of the military and those in the reserves, as well as those who have placed their lives on the line in prior service to this great nation. So please join me in acknowledging and giving special thanks to our military veterans and active military who are serving this great nation. I want to bring special attention to one of those because he came a long way, and I know it's hard for him to put on green this morning, and that is U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel James W. Williams, retired. Lieutenant Colonel Williams was forced to eject from flight in a mission over North Vietnam and was taken prisoner of war on May 20th, 1972. Lieutenant Colonel Williams spent 313 days in captivity. He was in the same facility where another great American, John McCain, was in captivity. And as a Tennessee State University graduate, having that orange on must be extremely painful. Having that green on must be extremely painful. But thank you, James, and the whole Williams family for coming out and joining us this morning. Thank you, sir. And then before I really sort of lose my mind, I want to give a really special acknowledgement and thank you to my wife of 34 years, Sharon Robinson, whose love, friendship, advice, and counsel, and every now and then a swift kick, have helped me make this journey possible. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you, WashU, Dr. Macias, for arranging that hookup, okay? So, in 1997, Sharon, our daughters, Nicole, Arlen, and Talia, and my niece, Patricia, embarked on this journey to Tallahassee from Knoxville 21 years ago. Whereas I had served as a visiting professor at Florida A&M University earlier in 1995 and 1996, I had come to know that Florida A&M University was a very special place, with leaders like Dr. Frederick Humphreys, Dr. James Ammon, Sybil C. Mobley, and so many others. Its academic excellence was well established long before I got here. Steeped in a rich culture, stemming from a rich history, this was indeed the right place for me to come to raise a family and to make a meaningful contribution professionally. I knew FAMU was special, but I just didn't know at that time how special it was. But 21 years later, I do know. I have learned. And so for me to stand before you as the 12th president of Florida A&M University is truly a humbling experience, because I know how important this past 131 years have been to not only those who have had the privilege of attending this great institution, but more importantly, what FAMU and institutions like FAMU have meant to those who just needed to know that there was an opportunity out there was hope out there, and there were these special places that they can come regardless as to what they looked like and what their circumstances were. And so FAMU provided that beacon of hope, not just for those who came, but for anyone else who needed to point to something as a way to go, as a place to go where you could eventually from there get to any place else into this society and in this world. It's important for people from rural communities and urban areas to know that there is a university concerned about your origins, but is keenly focused on propelling you to a greater place in the future. I thought I knew something about FAMU 21 years ago. I came here with my summa cum laude this and PhD that, but y'all rattlers sent me to school and I learned a few more things. The first time I walked into a Dean's Council meeting when Dr. Ammons was provost, Dr. Humphreys was president, it was like a who's who of higher education, period. I'm not just talking about HBCUs, it was a who's who of higher education, period. The people in that room, if you go and talk to folks at other colleges and universities of all type, they set the model for how to develop academic programs. They defined academic excellence. They knew how to take students who others may have given up on and convert them into great leaders. It was like a who's who of higher education. I thought I knew something about FAMU, and I thought I knew something, period, when I came here, but y'all took me to school these past 21 years. So I know that it's a fact that every student who arrives on the Hill, regardless of their race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status, every student who comes here is welcomed, but more importantly, we expect every student who comes here to succeed. So throughout my 21 years here, there was no question that when a student crossed the threshold, they were ours. And it was up to us to ensure that we circled the wagons and provided them with the support that they need, and then sometimes get out of their way so that they can achieve the great things that they were destined to do. That's what was special about Florida A&M University. I can confidently tell any parent or any prospective student that you do not have to waste your time and energy convincing us at this university of your innate ability to master any subject or solve any problem or to get anywhere in this society. We already know this. The only thing that students need to do here at this great institution is to demonstrate their willingness to work as hard on their own behalf as we are willing to work on their behalf. The faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, and even fellow students are ready to take that on each and every day. You do not have to go through the difficulty of trying to show somebody that you can. We expect you to do it. We are counting you to do it, on you to do it, because we know that as a state, as a nation, and as a world, we can't get there without you. I started out not being fully knowledgeable about the College of Love and Charity, but somewhere along the way, barely, I earned my master's degree in FAMUology. I hope to one day earn a PhD. Maybe you'll be the judge of whether or not that happens or not. Folks, it's become very humbling to stand before you realizing what's really at stake here. You heard from previous speakers about FAMU's storied past, but now we have to work together on FAMU's future. So I'm here acknowledging that so much good has already been done long before I got on the planet, long before I got to Tallahassee, recognizing the great work of those leaders who are here now, those who came before them. I know now that I have nothing but your expectations for success, and I know that we're going to get there because we recognize that we have to get there together. We have defined a pathway to get there, and I emphasize we have defined a pathway to get there. We might disagree about some things. That's typical. but there are a number of very good and well-intended metrics that are used to evaluate what we are doing, to measure institutional quality. But the one thing that we can't disagree about is that the most important metric to measure our worth, our value as an institution, are those metrics that focus on student success outcome. It's all about students. We can argue about anything else, but that is not on the table, okay? Our number one focus here is to continue the great tradition of producing outstanding graduates who go out into the world and do phenomenal things. To that end, we have developed a great plan that we have entitled FAMU Rising. I am honored that Dr. Elmira Mangum gave me an opportunity to start this initiative back in 2015, and that we polished this off a year or so ago with the approval of our board and subsequently the Florida Board of Governors. This plan, FAMU Rising, describes in detail quantitative terms on how we plan to excel in performance on key student success initiatives. Fundamental to the plan's implementation is the recognition of the importance of the work of dedicated faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, friends, our Board of Trustees, and our Board of Governors all working together to that common end. As FAMU succeeds, our community succeeds, our state succeeds, and our nation is placed in a more competitive position. This brings me to our theme for this event, Together We Rise. From the State Normal College for colored students that opened its doors on October the 3rd, 1887. What? With 15 students and 2 instructors, to the Florida A&M University, aspired to in our strategic plan, we have come a very, very long way. We have had and we will continue to have tremendous impact any place our graduates venture, but in many cases by our students long before they leave us. During the 1950s and 60s, those periods of great social unrest and recognition by some of the economic inequality that many suffered in this nation, in particular African Americans, FAMU students answered the call to action and staged a bus boycott right here in Tallahassee that eventually led to the integration of Tallahassee's public transportation. But you don't have to go back 50 years to talk about the social engagement of our students. Earlier this year, FAMU students marched to the state capitol in support of gun control in the memory of the Parkland, Florida high school shooting victims. In Memphis, Tennessee, my hometown, nearly 50 students joined in a march to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the sanitation workers' strike and, of course, Dr. Martin Luther King's mountaintop speech. You don't have to go back into the history to find that students at Florida A&M University understand that they have to leave here not just as great engineers, scientists, performers, writers, orators. They have to leave here with a willingness to make a difference. And they don't necessarily wait until they graduate. Sometimes we want them to put a little bit more focus on academics, right? But they know how to do this. And with our support, whether we like it or not, our students are going to lead the way for change that's meaningful in the generation that they're going to live in long after some of us are gone. That's why it's important for them to step up now and let the world know that the reason that we are here is to build a future for them. Okay? The reason that we are here is to build a future for them. Speaking of our students and how wonderful they are, you heard You heard about the great impacts of Hurricane Michael and the Panhandle. You didn't have to go that far. And it's devastating, throughout the Panhandle. But just last month, students from our College of Law, students here in Tallahassee, members of the band, students at Crestview, spearheaded efforts to collect items and dispense them to support families impacted, and as you heard, in some cases devastated by Hurricane Michael. They don't wait till they graduate to do these things, they do them now. Some of these students suffered themselves, but they put the welfare of others ahead of themselves. We met with our students during the time of the storm recently passed, with the idea that as administrators, we wanted to talk to the students about what we could do to help them and their families that have been impacted by the storm. To no surprise, perhaps, they were more concerned about what they could do to help families in the Panhandle that had been impacted to a much greater extent than they had. I was so impressed by that. I just can't tell you how that made me feel. Just one other story. There are some very, very important people in the audience, of course. One of them happens to be a young man by the name of Willie Simmons, right? He just happens to be the football coach. Now, we got to understand this is football season. We are in the South, so we got to get a football thing in. But it's not about the game. I'm going to tell you this one story because this really characterizes the type of leadership we have at the university and the type of students that we have here as well. So, we went a little back and forth on whether or not we should have played a game that weekend in Greensboro, North Carolina, following Michael, right? But we went ahead and played the game. Coach Simmons, his coaches, and the young men on the football team, they got on the bus at 2 a.m. in the morning and drove 10 hours to Greensboro. Got off the bus. Things weren't ideal because there were some remnant effects of Michael even as far away as North Carolina, right? They played the game, and to the surprise of many, they won the game. They celebrated. They celebrated for a little while, and of course they ate. They got back on the bus, drove 10 more hours back to Tallahassee. The coach dismissed them for a small period of time, but they reassembled that Sunday to provide relief efforts to communities impacted by Hurricane Michael. I mean, they did all of this, right? They did all of this while some of us lay asleep somewhere. They didn't rest on their laurels of having won a game that many people didn't expect them to win. That would have been good enough, but that wasn't enough because the type of leaders that we have at Florida A&M University and the type of students that we have at Florida A&M University, they knew that they had to do more. And so many of those kinds of stories are yet to be told. The students in this audience, the students out there within our alumni, they're doing the kinds of things that some thought impossible. Florida A&M University made perhaps the greatest contribution to the rise of the African American middle class in this state than any other educational institution here. I mean, we know this. I mean, it's just a historic fact because, at one point, unfortunately, you couldn't go anywhere else but FAMU or one of the other 3 private HBCUs in the state. FAMU is the only public historically black college in the state of Florida. We have contributed to the welfare of students so well that we often say that, Dr. Fox, that they can now proudly wear not just the orange and green, they can wear the orange and blue. But they started here. That generation that you're getting, FSU is getting, University of Miami, and everybody else where these students go. And boy, they go to some wonderful places, including Washington University in St. Louis. However, it all started right here on this hill in Tallahassee. So many of them, you can trace their origins to Florida A&M University. We created the African American middle class in this state. But we didn't stop there. We produced senior executives from Silicon Valley to Hollywood to Wall Street. We prepare great community leaders, as evidenced by what I call a really phenomenal event that happened in the political arena last year. There are things going on right now too. But let me tell you a little bit about last year when there were 7 or so newly elected African American mayors around this nation. 4 of those were graduates of Florida A&M University. So in places like Cairo, Georgia, East Point, Georgia, St. Paul, Minnesota, and of course, Wakanda, Atlanta, Georgia, FAMU graduates are at the helm because not that they want the attention of being a mayor, but they want to make a difference in their capacity as mayors because that's what they learned while they were students here at Florida A&M University. Completing the list, we have mayors in Quincy, Florida, Miami Gardens, Florida, and of course, right here in Tallahassee, Florida. So when we talk about Together We Rise, you know, that connection is far and wide. That connection doesn't stop with the boundaries of the city of Tallahassee or the state of Florida or the U.S. itself. We have graduates out there contributing to the welfare of their communities and others and their families all over the globe. Together, we rise. At Florida A&M University, we have raised the expectation level of our students. When they come here, they have to succeed. We don't settle for anything less. We expect them to go on into the world and make a difference. We expect them to be great. Randomly select any one of these students in this room today, anywhere else on campus, and if you look closely enough, you will see the greatness in them. Pick any one of them, okay? And you might find a student who's going to be the mayor, the CEO, the president, somewhere in the future. That's how we contribute to uplifting the lives of citizens everywhere. When we rise, communities rise. When communities rise, the nation rises. And when we rise and rise together, no one is left on the sidelines. And that's been our tradition at Florida A&M University. All you have to do is get here. And in fact, that's not enough for us anymore. We recognize that we might need to help some of you get here, and we sure as heck need to help some of you stay here financially, okay? And so I know I was gonna get a shout out for that one. So I want to thank all of you who have contributed to, in one way or the other, to the financial well-being of our students. Those of you who have provided support for them to stay in school, to experience things that some may never get a chance to do. It's not free to go to the Rose Bowl in January and participate in the Rose Bowl parade. So I want to thank all of you who have contributed to that and will contribute to that remarkable experience for our students. You know, you might also know that the choir, the concert choir, or chorale, properly stated, has also been invited to Carnegie Hall. It takes money to do that. It takes your generosity to do that. And at the same time, there's a student somewhere trying to make a decision as to whether or not they're gonna re-enroll next semester or work because their ends don't quite meet. Your generosity, in particular that of our alumni, makes a difference there. So I want to encourage you to continue in your generosity because without you, you know, we just can't get there. And I think every university president and administrator out there knows this. We have to dig deeper to contribute to the welfare of America's future. You know, I like to say that, you know, don't give until it hurts. Give until you go numb. Give until you can't feel it anymore at all. Give till when you go back home, your wife, husband, significant other said, what in the world did you do? That's the type of commitment that we need to support the development of this next generation of rattlers who are going to continue doing all of the phenomenal things that I've talked about this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm being given a signal back here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored, beyond description, to serve as the 12th president of Florida A&M University, to serve our students and all of those who invest in this university, from those agencies in Washington to those corporate entities that partner with us to get students to work and research with our faculty. I am honored to serve all of you as the 12th president of Florida A&M University. Let's rise together to contribute to the future of this great nation. Thank you very much. But anyway, for some of the people who are not accustomed to this, please hold on to your hats, those of you who have them. There's this tradition that we do at Florida A&M University, and it goes like this. When the dark clouds gather on the horizon, when thunder and lightning fill the sky, when fate is for the glint in the eye of a fallen rattler, and hopes of lost friends, when the sound of your chest grows worried from those hard-charging linebackers, and the muscles in the legs grow tired from those hard-charging running backs, you must always remember that the rattlers will strike and strike and strike again. Let's go, Rattlers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Larry Robinson, our 12th president. Everybody's raring to go. Okay. We are nearing the end. I just have to give a quick anecdote. Dr. Robinson said many great things that we should all take to heart. I came to FAMU on a Greyhound bus in 1980. My single mom dropped me off on the set. She had about an hour to help me unpack and had to take the Greyhound bus back to New York to be at work that Monday. I am so glad I am from FAMU. Class of 1984, and anytime you need me, Dr. Robinson, I will be here. I love this university, as I'm sure many of you in this room do, so thank you so much for your presence today. And on behalf of the FAMU Board of Trustees, I would like to thank everyone for attending this installation ceremony, where we honored and celebrated our 12th president, Dr. Larry Robinson. At this time, will you please join me in singing, join us, you don't want to hear just me, in singing the alma mater, which will be followed by the benediction from the Reverend Dr. Julius McAllister, pastor of Bethel AME Church. And following Reverend McAllister, we will be retiring the colors by the Army ROTC. And after that, I ask that you all join us immediately following the ceremony for the reception at the Gaither Gymnasium. And just a quick anecdote, Dick Maddox, the chairman of the Leon County Commission, is also here. Let's give him a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the alma mater, please.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we bless and praise your holy name. We thank you for what we have seen and what we have heard on this day. We thank you, O God, for this wonderful celebration on this day. We thank you for this experience, and we ask, O God, that you will continue to be with Dr. Larry Robinson. We ask that you continue to allow him to be the very embodiment of love, faith, hope, and trust. We ask that you continue to order his steps in your holy word and continue to give him a vision from on high. We've already heard that where there is no vision, the people perish. But we also know that where there is a vision, the people prosper. So God, touch and anoint him from head to toe and allow signs, wonders, and miracles to be wrought. Now, God, continue to be with our greatest investment, our men and women who will continue to attend this university. We ask that you continue to form and fashion and develop and cultivate embryonic scholars, that they will leave this place and have a major platform where they'll be able to do your work your way. Continue to allow your proverbial hand to keep this university striving and moving forward in faith. Now, God, we ask that you continue to bless each and every one of us as we continue to be mindful of the fact that you're the author and finisher of our faith. Now may the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of his Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you.